Hi, I'm Hillary Goldman and I identify myself as a Jewish American. I'm 20 years old and was born in Marietta, Georgia. Growing up, I wasn't really sure about my identity and what I considered myself. I grew up in a town where the population was dominantly Christian with very little Jewish population. This made it very hard to feel connected and have stuff in common with everyone around me. I do come from a household where we have practiced Judaism my entire life. My immediate family would not be here today if it wasn't for my grandparents. These are my mother's parents, Nathan and Marilyn Sandler. They are both still living and continue to be religious today. They attend services every Saturday and do Shabbat, which is the Jewish Sabbath, every Friday night at sundown. Judaism has always been extremely important to my mother's parents, which was exactly how my mom was raised when she was growing up. My mom went to a Jewish private school where my grandmother was actually the principal as well, and my mom also went to Sunday school every Sunday to practice more and learn the language of Hebrew. These are my other sets of grandparents, Arnold and Betty Goldman. My dad's parents were opposite of my mother's parents. My dad's family is Jewish, but they were not as religious at all. They went to synagogue only a couple times a year, and my dad was in public school his entire life. My dad doesn't know how to do Hebrew like my mom does, but it's not because he doesn't want to. He just grew up in a less religious household than my mother. Eventually, my parents met and got married. Together, they decided to raise their 3 children with a Jewish background. My sister, brother, and I were all bar and bat mitzvahed. A bar and bat mitzvah is the religious initiation ceremony of a Jewish boy or girl who has reached the age of 13 and is regarded as ready to observe religious precepts and eligible to take part in the public worship. The ceremony usually falls in the month or near your birthday of age 13. On October 18, 2008, I was officially named a Jewish adult. In order for me to be bat mitzvahed, I had to attend Sunday school every Sunday until 7th grade. After that, it is up to you to choose to stay to learn more, or you can withdraw yourself from the program. I also had to create a mitzvah. A mitzvah is a good deed done from a religious duty. I'm obsessed with animals, so I volunteered at an animal shelter all year and still in contact with them today. On the actual day of my bat mitzvah, I had an over 2-hour-long service where my family and friends accompanied me as I became a bat mitzvah. I had to recite certain prayers and I'll have Torah in Hebrew and got blessed by the rabbi. That night, we had a celebration party with all my family and friends again to celebrate my accomplishments of becoming a bat mitzvah. All of my family traveled from all around the country to watch me do this.
במושבה הבנות תורנה חיילים במושבה. אל נא אל נא אל נא אל נא אל תתייראנה ממך עירי צבא. צנע צנע הבנות תורנה חיילים במושבה. אל נא אל נא אל תתייראנה ממך עירי צבא. צנע 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 הבנות תורנה.
ושוב איתכם נצא לראות באור, ושוב איתכם נרקוד את כל הלילה, כי אליכם רצינו לחזור. ושוב איתכם עם ערב נתעורר, ושוב איתכם נשמח כולנו יחד, ולשירכם נשיב פזמון חוזר.
ושוב איתכם ושוב איתכם ושלום עליכם ועלינו על כולנו. ושוב איתכם ושוב איתכם אנחנו שלכם בכל השירים שלנו. ושוב איתכם ושוב איתכם ושלום עליכם ועלינו על כולנו. ושוב איתכם ושוב איתכם אנחנו שלכם בכל השירים שלנו.
ושוב איתכם בבית המואר, ושוב איתכם.
While my parents are raising my family, they decided in order for them to throw their children a wedding, we must agree to have a traditional Jewish wedding. While wedding ceremonies vary, a common traditional Jewish wedding includes a ketubah, which is a marriage contract which is signed by two witnesses who the bride or groom are not related to, a wedding canopy called a huppah in Hebrew, a ring owned by the groom that is given to the bride under the canopy, and this ring also generally can't have any like diamonds or anything like that on it. It's not the ring that the bride has to own as her wedding band. It's just a traditional ring that she has to get married in. And the breaking of the glass at the end of the ceremony before the bride and groom have their first kiss as a married couple. My sister accepted the wish of my parents and herself to get married in a Jewish temple and followed these traditional Jewish guidelines. My sister also had a bedekin, which is a veiling ceremony. According to the Jewish Bible, it is expected for the groom and his family to check under the veil of the bride to make sure that it is actually his wife. In the Jewish Bible, it says that Rebecca veils herself as she is told that Isaac is approaching, so she pretends to be another girl, and Isaac ends up marrying the wrong person because he never checked under the veil. That is a tradition of the groom nowadays, taking a second look before the ceremony starts to make sure the bride is actually his. During the reception in Jewish weddings, you will also find everyone doing a traditional Jewish dance called the Havanagila, which you heard the song of it during the slideshow of my pictures momentarily ago. As for the article that I researched, it is titled From 1945 to 2015. Commentary came into being 70 years ago with a fascinating mandate. It was magazine designed to explain Jews to America and explain America to Jews. In 1945, America may have been the most philo-Semitic country the world had yet to see, but even so, ingrained social, culture, and religious prejudice were part of everyday life. Catholic children were still being taught that the Jews who were their contemporaries bore personal responsibility for the crucifixion, neighbors, fraternal organizations, and the entire fields of professional work were basically off limit to Jews. Jews now constitute a mere 2% of the U.S. populace, down from 4% in 1950. Commentary seeks to remain a vital contributor to the American scene 70 years after the publication of its first issue by reflecting and evangelizing for the Jewish people's ancient dedication to intellectual seriousness. Jewry survived the destruction of the Second Temple banishment from our homeland and the 2 millennia of powerlessness by preserving their connection not only to God and to the practices He commanded us to follow, but the ideas of Judaism. Judaism is a faith that requires commitment to the deepest of abstractions, and it is for the reason, among many others, that it has sustained a culture of literacy and argument debate.